Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by the movie Hangout. Okay, so I just thought of this. How Solo screws up the Star Wars timeline. If you didn't think it was possible they could do a worse job of, with the new Star Wars movies. Okay, so spoiler alert right now. So if you don't want to know about this spoiler, stop listening. If you don't care and you want to hear anyway, and you want to hear how they screwed up the Star Wars timeline, then keep on listening. Okay, so in the movie, in the Solo movie, there's a cameo. The cameo, I'm sure you've already heard, is by Darth Maul. It's cool to see Darth Maul. Look, I've always liked Darth Maul. I thought he was underutilized in The Phantom Menace. I thought they could have done a lot more fighting scenes with him. They could have shown his strength in the Force. Could have shown a little more of a backstory with him. That way, when he dies in The Phantom Menace, it's a little more, I don't know, a little more suspenseful, you know? But in this Solo movie, he makes a cameo, okay? And while it's cool to see him in the movie, and it's cool to see another Sith Lord in it, it screws up the whole timeline. And this is why. Okay, so if you remember, in The Phantom Menace, Darth Maul, you know, he's going after Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi, tracking them down. And Anakin in that movie is a little kid. He's like 7 years old in it, okay? Definitely no older than 8 or 9 years old. He's just a really little kid. And he dies in that movie. Darth Maul dies. So it's not like Darth Maul is alive for like a decade or two and, you know, through the whole series, kind of like in the background. He dies in that movie when Anakin is 7 years old. Okay, so here's the problem. In the original trilogy, Harrison Ford is like 31 years old in that trilogy. No older than like 35 in The Return of the Jedi. So Han Solo is not an old guy. He's still relatively young. So in the Solo movie though, he is 30 years old in it. Even if you believe he's like 20 years old or he's like in his late teens, which is clearly is not. But if we're just supposed to suspend disbelief and think that he's like 18 years old in the Solo movie, still, Darth Maul is alive, so then that would mean that Han Solo is at least 10 years older than Darth Vader, than Anakin. So if you watch Return of the Jedi, you see that Darth Vader is clearly an older man. I mean, he's probably about the same age, you know, just a little bit younger than Obi-Wan Kenobi. So it just screws the whole thing up. So if you're to believe the timeline is set now by the Solo movie, then you'd have to believe that Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi is like in his 20s. But then Luke is in his early 20s. It just doesn't make any sense now. And I'm just like so pissed off about it because it's like the only reason why they're doing this, that Star Wars is doing this, Disney's doing this, is just to give fans a little something that they've seen before, not create anything new, to get people talking and to get people, you know, make people happy about seeing the movie. But the problem is that they keep like over and over chipping away at this great story. And I think one of the reasons why fans are so ticked off about all this is because, you know, there are thousands of movies made every single year, and nobody knows about them. Nobody cares because, you know, they're usually not any good. They don't have great characters. They don't have a great story, and they don't like tap into our culture in a way that people really identify with. And Star Wars, the original trilogy, was like capturing lightning in a bottle 3 times. Something that'll probably never ever happen again. even with trilogies, that were popular, like The Matrix, for instance. That first Matrix movie was really popular. I would say it's probably about as popular as a Star Wars movie, but then it petered out, and it kind of fizzled out. So just imagine something that popular being captured 3 times, and that's what Star Wars was. And then now, younger people stepping in to kind of pick up the lightsaber and to carry the story forward, just keep ruining it over and over again. And what I keep wondering is like during like Disney and Lucasfilm's meetings, don't they like just get a dry erase board and then write this timeline down, or just get a group of nerds that are super into the story, that know everything about it, that read all the books, and have seen all the movies like a million times, and then just sit down and ask them like, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, does this make sense? I just don't understand why they don't do that, because there's just so many glaringly obvious problems here, and I'm not even like a Star Wars scholar or anything. Anyways, just something that I noticed, that it screws up the timeline. What do you guys think about that? Do you care? Do you think that Lucasfilms could have done a better job with that? They could have created a new Sith character that we would have cared about. Comment below, let me know. If you want to get future rants, reviews, and original content, click subscribe.